Hello, my name is Nicieza. I'd like to welcome guys to my channel. Today we're going to talk about the original Thunderbolt series. It's my third video on this particular subject, but I just really love this run. Kurt Busiek just really killed it. We're going to cover issues 26 to 39. Something interesting happens in this group of issues. We have a change of writers from Kurt Busiek to Fabian Nicieza, who I also really loved his work on the series, but Mark Bagley stays on as the main artist of this run. So, issue 26, it's pretty much a standalone story. In previous issues, we had seen that Hawkeye becomes the leader of the team. He offers official pardons to all the members of the Thunderbolts, because obviously most of them had been supervillains prior to this, super criminals. But he couldn't pardon the fact that Mach-I had killed someone back in the day when he was the Beetle, and Abe Jenkins had to do time. So Mach-I does something, the honorable thing. He turns himself over to the authorities and goes to prison. So this story actually takes place in Seagate, where Abe Jenkins has to deal with life being back in prison and sort of rubbing elbows with old school villains and old allies of his. And some of them do bear a grudge against him because he's become a hero. And he sort of uncovers this whole conspiracy with Justin Hammer that has compromised the whole prison and this whole corruption scandal. And as I said before, it's a pretty good standalone story. Also, this is one of the few issues that Mark Bagley isn't the main artist. There's actually three people credited as artists of this particular issue: Kurt Busiek himself, Mark Bagley, and Scott Hanna. So, and the coloring is done by Joe Rosas, because the coloring in this particular comic is very different from the rest of the series. So the art is really, really good. It's a real treat. So, issue 27. We have our first big story arc. We have the return of Graviton, big classic villain from West Coast Avengers. He had clashed previously with the Thunderbolts and totally destroyed them till he was tricked and talked down by Moonstone. So this particular issue starts off with, also I have to mention that Dallas Riordan, in the previous video we saw, she was unmasked and seemed to be the Crimson Cow, but she was actually set up. She's broken out of prison by these mysterious soldier dudes. So what happens in this particular issue is that Hawkeye realizes that the Thunderbolts need some form of transport, and he knows about this abandoned warehouse where they have some superhero tech and stuff they might need, especially a flying car. That's classic superhero stuff to have a flying car. This stuff used to belong to the team, the Champions of Los Angeles. So they go to this place. I don't remember because I'm working off my memory. If he told any of the members, "Hey, I'm gonna take some of your stuff," or he was stealing it. But what happens is Archangel was there waiting for him, because he's actually the owner of all the Champions of Los Angeles stuff. And he confronts Hawkeye. He's like, "Hey, what happened to you? Why are you running around with all these villains? Have you gone wrong? Become a bad guy? Stuff like that? And why are you stealing my stuff?" So we get a pretty cool battle where Archangel is able to give Hawkeye, Songbird, and Moonstone, which Moonstone's a pretty big powerhouse, gives him quite a fight, only out of his flying expertise. And like, out of all the X-Men, I really love this character, even though he seems to be one of the more weaker ones. Due to his power set, he just can fly, and his body's just adapted for that. I just really love this character. I just enjoy him. And I thought it was really cool. I thought they were setting up for Archangel or Angel to join the Thunderbolts, but sadly this doesn't happen. Thing is, Hawkeye talks things out with Archangel. He tells him, "Look, I have him become a supervillain. Come and join us. Check us out. See that we're trying to make a difference. Be good guys." Here we have the return of Mr. Graviton, who's created this giant flying island and offered people to live in total anarchy and freedom for exchange of becoming hitman and muscle for him, and he gives them the ability to fly. So we have the Thunderbolts go into action. They go and confront Graviton, and the thing I really love about battles against Graviton, because he's so insanely powerful. I used to hate this got milk publicities. Oh, they were all over the place. Is that he just destroys. He flattens the poor Thunderbolts in 2 minutes. He totally clobbers the team. They do their best, obviously, but what happens at the end of the story is that in the first wave of attacks, Jolt and Charcoal, actually, Hawkeye told him he was responsible. A few times you see superheroes being responsible. Hey, your kids, stay out of this battle. So they see their teammates being totally destroyed. And they do something smart. Instead of trying to confront Graviton right off the bat, what they do is go search for help. Oh, look at this weird mini comic. It was just terrible about bottled water and superheroes. They seek help. They go to Machine Man. Marvel was really pushing Machine Man during this time. X-51 was about to get his own series and stuff like that. So they tried to make him pop up as many times as possible. The thing is, he tells Charcoal and Jolt is like, look, I'm going through maintenance. I can't help you guys, but I can give you some good technology to deal with Graviton. So he gives them these electronic doohickeys that sort of negate Graviton's powers, so they can't be thrown around or slammed against walls or crushed and stuff like that if they wear them. Again, another got milk publicity. So Jolt jumps in using this. You can see these arm bracelets there. Gives her the upper hand. Gives the Thunderbolts a fighting chance. And this is already 4 issues long, this story arc. It's like 1 issue too long, this particular story arc with Graviton. Finally, in issue 30, they're able to dispose of and defeat Graviton. His powers turn against him. He's teleported to another dimension. Angel says, hey, keep the flying car. We're buddies. You're not supervillains. You're trying to do their best. He leaves. Again, I really wanted him to join this team. I thought it was a cool idea. Flying car gets the Thunderbolts logo. Charcoal gets this new costume that's very similar to the Champions of Los Angeles logo. So that's pretty cool. As I said in other videos, Charcoal, he's a really cool character. It's really sad that further down the line to kill him off, no one has, up to my knowledge, brought him back. If you want diversity in black character, he's a really cool and powerful black character. So as we go on, in this issue, Hawkeye also starts his relationship with Moonstone. They become boyfriend and girlfriend. And their relationship, because he's always sort of evil and has this secret agenda and her interests, and she's always really shady. This relationship sort of reminds me of the relationship between Cyclops and Emma Frost. So, and they work pretty well as a couple. They're really dysfunctional. At least I enjoy them together, and I feel like Marvel has totally forgotten about this relationship. So I'm actually missing number 30, issue 31. I don't know where the hell it went. But the Thunderbolts get captured by the Imperials. That later on it's established they're the secret empire. They're one and the same. So they have to battle against all these weird mutants and stuff like that. But what's relevant in this particular issue is that U.S. Agent and the jury crash the party of this battle. They're really trying to capture the Thunderbolts, but they realize Hawkeye is trying to be a superhero. They're fighting against the Secret Empire, and they join forces. And also, for those who don't know, in West Coast Avengers, Hawkeye and U.S. Agent used to be bitter rivals, and they had issues. Oh, another thing I used to hate from the comics from this time, this PSA that popped up in every single comic book about the fight against drugs, where Spider-Man battles Mysterio over the evils of marijuana and stuff like that. It's oh man, it was in every issue and it took up too many pages. So here we have the team up with Hawkeye and the jury. We find out that the Secret Empire is being backed and financed by Baron Zemo. That's where they're getting some of the cash, because Zemo wants to deal with and take down the Thunderbolts, who had betrayed him back in issue number 12. He's still a little bitter about that his own team, the old Masters of Evil, betrayed him. So here we have Hawkeye. Damn, camera doesn't get the angle. Hawkeye and U.S. Agent being friends again. So they end this about 10 to 15 year rivalry between both of these characters. Then we got issue 33, still with Kurt Busiek. What we discover in this particular issue is that for a while in this first we get the origins of Jolt, where her family and friends were all killed during the onslaught, during the battle. Her whole apartment, she was having like a birthday, and everyone there blew up thanks to the Sentinels and onslaught, and everyone was killed. So it's sort of a tragic story. Then she gets kidnapped and transformed by Erin Zola. But what we discover is that in the base that they had occupied from the Crimson Cowl's Masters of Evil, she had this weird base, gigantic base, that things were popping up, fixed or new technology or weapons and stuff like that. And what they discover is that there's this guy called the Ogre actually living in this base. He's been living there for years. He used to be part of the Factor 3, very old X-Men villain, very obscure. So he tells his life that he was basically forgotten in this base. He's been waiting for his old teammates to come back. Here's his old teammates, old X-Men villains, and he's been pretty much forgotten. Over the years, this base was occupied by Hydra, the Serpents, the Secret Empire, the Masters of Evil, and all of them have been trying to get rid of him. And so he's been hiding really deep within the base. So he's a really interesting character. The thing is, what happens? He joins the team. He's like sort of like the Forge of the team, but at the end of this issue here also we have the introduction of the new Beetle, is that he gets blindsided by Fixer, who has also infiltrated the base, and puts him in the stasis chamber and takes his place. Issue 34. So in this issue we have Fabian Nicieza. Here we have the change, and we have the Thunderbolts. They want to take down Hulk once and for all, because that was their first mission. For those who don't know, they want to make a name for themselves. Show after this fucking PSA. I hate it. And this issue really kicks ass. Seeing this battle between the Hulk and the Thunderbolts is really cool. I really enjoyed it, because it really shows off Hawkeye's leadership capabilities, how he makes his team work together, and classic way of taking down the Hulk, using gas or something to asphyxiate him and knock him out. And this video's running long. I might have to cut it off early, this one. And how Hawkeye saves his life, because he turns back to Bruce Banner, this guy that was really pissed off with Bruce. He's about to shoot him point blank. How Hawkeye uses his arrow instead of killing him like they did in Civil War II. I hated that. I fucking hated how they killed Hulk and how they used Hawkeye in that. He nicks him with an arrow to save his life. And at least, even though they didn't capture Hulk, they were able to defeat him. That's a win for the Thunderbolts. So, I'm going to actually cut this video early because it's going to run really, really too long. So, at issue number 34. So, still we have to see further down the line the introduction of the new Beetle, Mach-I. This pretty cool annual with Damon Hellstrom. There we go. And all the other issues and the introduction of scores. So I'm going to leave this video here. I hope you guys liked it. If you haven't read Thunderbolts or just getting into comic books, go out and read this run. Bye.